Assalamu alaikum, dear students. We are here with the chemistry of class 9 and the unit number 5. Last time I was telling you about physical states of matter and we left with the Charles law of gases. And before starting that chapter, I have told you that we are going to do first about the gases, then we will move on towards okay. We explained two laws. Number one was Boyle's and the other one was Charles' law. Now we are going to start about liquid states, but before that you can see page number 84 on your book and it's written over there. I'm just explaining it and you can see on the diagram first that in the figure 5.3 there are over here, this one. There are three states of matter showing intermolecular forces. Number one is about gas molecules, number two is liquid, and the number three is solid molecules. Now, all of you know that in gas molecules, the intermolecular forces are very weak, but in the liquid and solid, it is comparatively stronger. So, this is the only thing that gives different properties to them, intermolecular forces. Gases has very low intermolecular forces. That's why you can see in the diagram the molecules are wide apart from each other. But what happens in liquid molecules? These are little bit, you can see, tightly formed with each other, and in solids, that's why they are in a solid shape, in a definite shape and volume. Now coming towards the liquid state, you can see over here the liquid state. We are going to start it over there. I'm highlighting it. Liquids have a definite volume, but their shape is not definite. Just like water. Water has a definite volume, means if it is 100 ml, it will remain 100 ml in the same volume in the other container as well. But the shape can be changed. Just like as we put water in ice cubes of different shapes, it is changed. So liquid have a definite volume. Volume doesn't reduce, but the shape is not at all definite. It can be varied from one to another. So there are different typical properties of liquid as well as it was we have studied in gaseous, diffusion, effusion, compressibility, and all the things, density. Now coming towards the typical properties, number one is evaporation. Now what is evaporation? You can see in the screenshot that there is 2016 written and it is the year when it comes in a paper. So evaporation को उर्दू में हम बोलेंगे पानी या किसी भी चीज का लिक्विड बनकर, बुखारात बनकर, स्टीम बनकर उड़ जाना, evaporate हो जाना. Just like you open the bottle of thinner, nail polish remover, and you just exposed it to the air, it evaporates. This process is known as evaporation. Now what we are doing, we are mainly concerned with how it happens and why it is such an important property to study. So first of all, the definition says the process of changing of a liquid into a gas phase is called evaporation. Means when we heated up a liquid, it definitely converted into gas form, just like as we put water and it goes evaporated in the steam phase. It is known as evaporation. It is reverse to condensation, in which a gas changes into liquid. A gas when changes into liquid means the same amount of water which is going to be evaporated, if we collected it and it is reversed into the liquid state, it is known as condensation. Let me tell you in very simple way, as many of you go towards to bring roti from outside in some tiffin box, or you can say your mom cooks it. When it is covered, then you covered it, and after some time you open it, there is little droplets of water on the surface of that container, right? This process is known as condensation. What happens? The condensation is the process the liquid is changing into the steam, and steam is again changing into the liquid, is known as condensation. The roti or the thing, the bread which is baked or it's hot, when it is put in a container, it has some steam जो धुआं हो रहा होता है. When you covered the lid and open it after some time, that steam is converted into the droplets of water. The process is known as condensation. So evaporation and condensation, you can say these are the two processes which are very important properties of liquids. So evaporation is an endothermic process. Now what is an endothermic process? You should know that endo means, endothermic processes are those processes in which heat is going to be absorbed. Okay, in which heat is going to be absorbed, and the other process, the other form in which heat is going to be evolved, जिसमें heat बाहर निकल रही होती है process में, that is exothermic. But over here it can come as an MCQ or fill in the blank that what is evaporation. Is it an endothermic or exothermic process? You have to keep this thing in your mind. It is an endothermic process. Was it? Now what is endothermic process? Endothermic process states that the process in which heat is going to be absorbed, such as they are giving the example, when 1 mole of water in liquid state is converted into vapor form, it requires 40.7 kilojoule per mole of energy, and this energy is also known as heat of vaporization. Okay, you can see that on delta H naught is also just a minute, I am highlighting it. This one is equal to 40.7. Over here, VAP means heat of vaporization. Now, basically what happens in this phenomena? It happens that whenever we have liquid state, you can see in the diagram in the upper side, the molecules are joined each other, but not so much tightly hold with each other. They are continuously in a state of motion. So as a result, what happened? Each molecule contains kinetic energy. Okay, when they have kinetic energy, it's not essential, it's not necessary that all the molecules in the pan or in the gas or liquid state are having the same kinetic energy. Different molecules have different types of kinetic energy. Like the molecules which are close to the container's wall have different kinetic energy, which are under the surface that have different kind of kinetic energy. So what happens? Basically, majority of the molecules that have average kinetic energy, and a few have more than that kinetic energy. So those molecules which have more than kinetic energy, they just overcome the attractive forces. The thing which is heavier, which has more potential to go, just like in your class, the students who have more kinetic energy, who have more potential to do work, they comes on the upper surface, they become the toppers of your class. Similarly, the molecules which have more kinetic energy, they will definitely overcome the attractive forces, and they can escape from the surface and they can evaporate. So this is process basically known as evaporation. This was the mechanism that why it is going to be happening. Now they says that in the next page you can say, let me share it with you that okay, it's page number 85, which is visible on your screens. Right. So over here in the second paragraph, you can see that evaporation is a continuous process taking place at all temperatures. It doesn't mean that evaporation is only the process that is on carrying on only upper temperatures, higher or lower temperatures. It is basically a you can say process that happens in all kind of temperatures. Either the temperature is low, either the temperature is moderate, or either the temperature is high. The rate of basically evaporation depends on directly proportional to the temperature. If temperature is very high, the rate of evaporation will be definitely very high. If it is very low, the rate of evaporation will be very low. You can match this example just like as in summer and winter season. You can see in the summer season we have lot of sweating, पसीना बहुत ज्यादा आता है, and what happens when you comes under the fan, your sweating goes evaporate as soon as possible. What happens in winters? Basically less precipitation, but if we want to evaporate that, it will take much time. So it depends typically on the temperature. It's directly proportional. If we want to say that evaporation is greater, it means the temperature is going to be greater as well. And another line you can see, just showing it, this one, evaporate. This one line is really very important. It states that the evaporation is a cooling process. Why it is a cooling process? This question comes as a short question in 2015, 17 and 18, and you have to explain it. Now please listen it very carefully, that how it is a cooling process. Now listen, what happens when the high kinetic energy, I have told you previously that each molecule has different kinetic energy. Some has very high, some has average, some has very low. Now those one molecules that has very high kinetic energy, it start to vaporizes, ये उड़ना शुरू कर देता है, ठीक है? Then what happens? The temperature of remaining molecules definitely comes down. When it will slow down, what happens? To fulfill that deficiency of energy which evaporates, these smaller molecules will come from the surroundings and takes the place of that thing. Now what happens as a result? As a result, the temperature of surroundings will definitely decreases and we start feeling cooling. It's just like that whenever we get precipitation and we sit under the AC, under the fan, after some time we start feeling cooling. It is basically process of evaporation in our body. It's biological mechanism and you can feel as a result cooling process. So basically the purpose behind this paragraph will explain, the question comes that why evaporation is a cooling process, you have to explain it. So the answer stays in this paragraph. There is another example in your book that whenever before starting the topic of evaporation, I have given you, just we take the thinner or alcohol in our lab and we just take it on in our palm, just like nowadays corona is everywhere and we are using hand sanitizers very oftenly. What happens? We just put hand sanitizer, it contains alcohol and it just evaporate within few seconds. So it means after that we little bit feel cooling effects. So this is alcohol evaporates and we just feel cooling effect. So this is the example which are we using nowadays on daily basis, is example of evaporation. So this is very important question and you have to mention it or write it in your book registers as well. Now there comes that how many factors are there which describe evaporation. You can see over here written long 2019. It means it comes as a long question in 2019. So there are three factors. First you have to write down the definition of evaporation if it comes in your exams. Then you have to write down that there are three factors. Number one, surface area. Number two, temperature. And the third one is intermolecular forces. Now coming towards the explanation of each factor one by one. First one, surface area. What is surface area? Surface, as the name is indicated, surface वो जगह, area कितना area है. Let's say I'm talking about the surface area of your hand. It's the measurement of your hand. Some has larger surface area, some has smaller surface area. It depends on the size of your hand. Similarly, evaporation is totally surface phenomena. Means whatever you spread on the surface, it will take time to evaporate in that thing. Just like if you have more surface area, greater will be the evaporation. Just like as we have our clothes that are going to be washed, and if we put on the under the sunlight, what happens? If we put that cloth in maximum, you can say maximum uh, closed type, fold it and then put it under the sunlight, it will not absorb that much under sunlight and it is unable to evaporate as you give the cloth the most wide open. If you put the wide open the cloth, it will dry faster and evaporation rate will definitely be faster. But if you put it in closed piles, it will not be as faster as when it is wide open. So this was a basic example. Now you can say that greater is the surface area, the more will be the evaporation rate. Okay. There is an example in your book, for example, a saucer. Saucer is basically, you can say, it's a lid. It's a, some people say it's pitch. It's under the cup. Whenever you give a person the pitch, when the tea is not getting too much cold and you are in a hurry, what you do, you just pour some tea over here and it will quickly within fraction of seconds get cool. So this is the example of surface area, the how evaporation takes place. Means you can say the surface area is directly proportional to evaporation. Means more surface area, more evaporation. You can also write down just as a key point in the surface area directly proportional sign means evaporation. Means if surface area is greater, then evaporation is going to be greater. Now the second point comes is temperature. Now what happens with temperature? You can also write down that temperature is directly proportional to evaporation as well. At higher temperatures, the rate of evaporation is always high because what is the reason behind it? What is the mechanism? The mechanism says that at higher temperature, all the molecules having kinetic energy are increases, and whenever obviously you are providing much higher temperature, there are many bubbles you can see in the water when you put them on boiling. So what happens? All the molecules in the surroundings will start definitely shaking, and intermolecular forces are going to be held very tightly. They are loosen themselves, and what happens? It started evaporating rapidly. For example, the same thing, if we have a water in a container with hot water and we didn't cover it, what happens? It basically remains the same, but with the passage of time, when it is hot, it is start making steam and it will start evaporating. But at the same time, if you put a cold water in the same container, it will never form the steam. So it means the temperature has direct effect on the rate of evaporation. The third one is intermolecular forces. In the last chapter, I have told you what are intermolecular forces and why we are studying it. Yet, if intermolecular forces, if they are very strong, molecules face difficulty in evaporation. It means it is inversely proportional to the rate of evaporation. Means why? You can see the most intermolecular forces are stronger in form of solid, so they have more greater effect in solid. We are studying about liquids, so intermolecular forces definitely go on there, but molecules face difficulty in evaporation. There is an example that water has very strong intermolecular forces than alcohol that is present in sanitizer. That's why, that is the reason at room temperature you can do this experiment at your homes, that you can put one drop of hand sanitizer on your hand, and on the other hand you can put one drop of water, then see which one evaporates fast. It's definitely alcohol. The reason is it has intermolecular forces but that are not that much stronger. That's why it has more capacity to evaporate. So this was about evaporation, and this is the way you have to attempt it. Now coming towards another property of all the liquids, which is vapor pressure. This is also very important. 2015, 2016, 2015 in morning and evening shifts, both time. So first of all, you have to explain that what is vapor pressure. Vapor means बुखारात, steam. जो droplets पानी के उड़ के चले जाते हैं, that is known as vapor pressure. अब उनका जो pressure exert होना है, that is known as vapor pressure. Now first of all, the definition. The pressure exerted by the vapors of a liquid at equilibrium with the liquid at a particular temperature is called vapor pressure of a liquid. First, you have to learn this definition line by line, and I am going to explain it now. Now listen, it's really very important that the rate of vaporization and rate of condensation is always equal, and it should be in opposite direction for a vapor pressure. Now, let me give you an example, repeating the same example in a different way. We have a liquid, that is water. We just put that liquid in boiling stage, okay? And what happens? And just turn on the flame. When it will start boil, the molecules, bubbles will start, intermolecular forces will start it moving. And what happens? The water starts evaporating. When it will going to be start evaporating, then the steam is formed. The process from converting liquid to steam is known as evaporation. Now, This is also known as vaporization, in which the vapors are going to be formed. The small droplets of gases are known as vapors are going to form. In the meanwhile, what happens, what we do, we just cover that container with the lid. What happens, the steam is also going to be formed, but the steam that is going to be formed, we have covered it in the same container, it is also converted into the liquid at once. So in the this one I am highlighting this equation, that I'm explaining it right now, that liquid is converted into vapors and vapors are coming back into the liquid. So the process, first one, forward reaction, जो reaction आगे की तरफ जा रहा है, the liquid is converted into vapor is known as vaporize, and the liquid, that is vapors that are coming towards in the form of liquid is condensation. So this process is known as condensation. When both these processes are taking simultaneously, they achieve a balance with each other. Means you are just turning on the flame, the water is going to convert it into the steam, and the steam again converted after covering the lid, changed into the again into the liquid, is known as condensation. So when these two processes, vaporization and condensation, are taking place simultaneously, you can say that they have achieved an equilibrium. Equilibrium means balance. Balance out हो गया है, जितना rate of evaporation है, vaporization है, the same rate is for the rate of condensation. So when this balance is achieved, you can say that vapor pressure is going to be applicable over there, and this achievement of equilibrium is known as equilibrium, sorry, dynamic equilibrium. Now I am sharing another page for you, just wait a minute. It's over here, page number 86, the next page of your book. Over here there is a diagram which explains well the dynamic equilibrium between liquids and its vapor. In the A part, you can see the energy of all the molecules is not the same, and it's not the same, and it's quite low. What is happening, initially the vapors basically condense very slowly to return to the liquid, because the water is not going to be boiled. So how it is possible that condensation start at once? So in diagram A, it is showing that the process is quite low. What happens in B? Definitely after some times condensation process increases, and what happens at a stage comes in C option, sorry, in part C, that the rate of evaporation and the rate of condensation process are starting to operate each other. Means there should be a balance within each other. Number one says there is no condensation process, there is condensation process but negligible. Now in B, it is operating and it is going to be stimulated. But what happens in C? The rate of condensation and the rate of evaporations are going to be balance each other. So this process is known as dynamic equilibrium. Okay. Now, as we have studied that for evaporation, we have three factors. Now, what happens over here in the vapor pressure? Definitely, it also depends on some factors. Number one factor is nature of liquid. Nature of liquid means that the liquid nature, how can it be determined? Obviously, we can only detect liquids that either it's polar or non-polar. So vapor pressure definitely depends upon the major thing is nature of liquid, that how is it polar, is it non-polar. Now the polar liquids like water, it has low vapor pressure than non-polar solvents, sorry, liquids at same temperature. If we apply the same temperature, what happens, the liquid that is more polar, it will definitely has low vapor pressure as compared to those which has non-polar liquids. You can just see the example, just like water has very less vapor pressure than that of alcohol at room temperature. That's why alcohol has the more capacity to evaporate if we relate it with evaporation. Number two is the size of molecules. It's a definite observation of every science student that the small size things definitely can move easily. A person who is shrink, who is less bulky, he has more capacity to run in your sports period. Similarly, the thing which has a smaller size of molecule has more property to evaporate than the big size. There is an example quoted in your book. It's hexane. Hexane has C6H14 formula, means it contains 6 carbon and hydrogen 14 molecules. If we see the example of hexane, and on the other side we see the example of decane that has the formula C10H22, then you can easily say that hexane has the property to more rapidly evaporate, or it has more vapor pressure than decane. Third point is about temperature. At high temperature, you can say vapor pressure is higher than at low temperature. It is directly proportional. Higher temperature, higher vapor pressure. Low temperature, low vapor pressure. You can write down on the top of your heading as well. Temperature directly proportional to vapor pressure. At elevated temperatures, the kinetic energy of the molecules enough increases to enable them to vaporize and definitely exert pressure. Now in the table you can see there is a relationship of water with temperature. Like over here, temperature is 0 degree centigrade, the vapor pressure is 4.58, and when the temperature is raised up to 60 degrees centigrade, the vapor pressure is also going to be increased, and that is 149.4. Similarly, when we raise the temperature 20, then 80, and you can see the upper thing that the vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature, hence it summarizes all the things. Now your homework is that uh, page number 84, 85, and 86 we have covered in this lecture. If you have any query, you can ask me right after this lecture, and you have to write down the typical properties of liquids. Among them, you have to write down evaporation and vapor pressure. Till now we have discussed it. So about evaporation, I am telling you again that you have to write down the definition, then you have to write down an example, why it is a cooling process, and what are the factors that are affecting the evaporation. You have to write down. Then coming towards, you have to make the question, define vapor pressure, what are the factors that affect vapor pressure. Then you have to mention these 3 factors, and you are supposed to make the diagram to just explain that there is a dynamic equilibrium achieved, and you have to explain that equation well as well. Now if you have any question, you can ask. Please unmute your mic.